Breaking news. Iran has witnessed the largest-scale electronic offensive and defense battle in human history. Multiple transport. 20 aircraft carrying a large number of electronic warfare drones arrived in Tehran. With support, Khamenei immediately ordered to suppress the rioters. Iran has been without internet for several days. To provide communication for the riot organizers, SpaceX's Starlink satellites established a communication link through ground signal stations. If Iran continues to be in such chaos, the Khamenei regime will be in danger in a few days. Therefore, China provided Iran with several thousand electronic warfare drones. Khamenei immediately ordered to use the electronic warfare drones in 6 major cities to block all communication signals and dispatch troops to suppress the rioters. In the face of an emergency, Netanyahu sent nearly 1,000 Kurdish armed personnel from northern Iraq to deliver weapons and ammunition that could arm over 4,000 people to the Isfahan region of Iran. However, this was discovered by Turkey. Immediately, Iran and Turkey jointly launched a pincer attack on the target. After several hours of combat, all the armed personnel were completely eliminated. To prevent such incidents from happening again, Pakistan urgently dispatched nearly 1,000 militiamen to Iran's eastern region to guard against Afghanistan. To counter the electronic warfare drones, Musk has already dispatched 1,000 VS-2 satellites to Iran. The next 72 hours will be the decisive moment for Iran's fate.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto us like foreigners from the city of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. It's a hot mess what's going on right now. So you have the incident, the protests that's taking place in Iran, Persia, in which the leader of the supreme leader of Persia has equated what's going on to the small hat state. They're trying to coup. This is why Trump was talking all that shit about the human rights in Iran, about executions and everything like that. Simultaneously, in America, he's planning. The motherfucker is planning to instill the insurrection act in Minnesota because people are protesting. They're coming against ICE agents. So the hypocrisy is real. All right. So he's going out there telling other nations about what's going on in their country and how they execute certain things. They shouldn't be doing that. But here it is in this country. The thing is, they're not supposed to be doing what they're doing to their own citizens. Now within when I put this on, more than 14 days, they might shut down the government again. He already had cut off a couple places, mainly like New York, Democratic places of certain support, certain monies, because they're not going for what he wants to be done, but he wants to go and tell another nation how to watch over their people. So there's a coup within Iran right now, and it's orchestrated by Israel and the United States of America. All because America cannot have any stability in any country other than the country that they have themselves. And within even the country that they have under its banner, they still mistreat their own citizens. But that's a different subject for another time. So we could clearly see what's going on. The hot spot is the Middle East. It's been the Middle East. All right. Certain things has to be done here in the States, technically all around the world. A great global reset must take place. Within this great global reset will come the RFID microchip. But then the great war, the war to end all wars, need to be accomplished, need to take place, which will be the end of this place. All right. So what we seeing is what the Bible called. Let me get that real quick. Revelation 16 and 16. It says, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Amagadwan. All right, Amagadwan is mountain of troops in the Hebrew. Har, Mount, God, Gad or Gadwan, troops. Gad means troops. So the mountain of troops. So the destabilization or the coups that's taking place in Iran is a very key point of everything that's going to take place. If there's a coup, if there's any of that sort in Iran, China and Russia is fully committed to Iran. Okay? Matter of fact, according to the scripture, I'm just gonna go straight to the point. Ezekiel Ezekiel 38 and 4 says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. So, matter of fact, I gotta go up. I gotta go up. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, which means of Gog, the chief prince of Meshech. Oh, yeah, that's true too. Meshech is Moscow. So the chief prince, Ra'ash, in the Hebrew, chief or heading Prince Shar, Ra'ash Shar, Apostle Taha broke it down, of Meshech or Moscow and Tubal prophesied against it. So there was a saying, it was Putin. I made a saying many years ago. I forgot which president. It had to have been Obama. It had to be Obama. I'm trying to remember certain things. And he had made a statement that God is with us. Talking about Russia. He's half right. The God of the Bible is with them, but he's against them. But he's using them to fight up against his true adversary, which is America, which is Babylon the Great. All right. That's the only reason why Russia is the way it is. Because the Lord had to prop up, he had to build up, um, he had to build up Russia to be the adversary to America. It says, and say unto, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, the chief prince, Russia. All right, so there's a chief prince for a reason. That's the head. Okay. What was it called? We know it was called a USSR, and is going to gain back that glory again. Okay, of Meshach and Tubal, I would turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. So the Lord's going to turn it back, because when the time that the Soviet Union was alive and well, there was a great fear amongst all the nations. Now, according to the history during the World War II, what was it before World War II? Well, World War II, there was like over 100. They said over 100 million Russians died. All right, over 100 million of them. That's a lot of people. That's one. Yeah, that's 1/3 of American population today. But after that death that they had to deal with, they still fought to remain in the position of what they are in. So there was a great fear amongst the nation. They said, according to the historians, true history, World War II was already China. I mean, not China. Japan was already defeated because they feared that the Russians were coming. So despite that they surrendered, America still dropped Fat Boy. What's it called? Fat Boy and Little. No, Fat Man and Little Boy. I can't remember the name of the two missiles that pretty much wiped out Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But to this day, they said that shadows of people that were standing there remains. So the atomic bomb was a very powerful bomb. All right, but everybody feared the USSR. So the USSR, which we all know, was disbanded in the 1980s, and a lot of countries that was part of the USSR disbanded from the USSR, like Poland, Ukraine. There's another land I can't remember, but all those lands were a part of this mega empire, so to speak. So when the U.S., let's see if I can find it. Well, it's not gonna give me no. It's not really gonna give me nothing. I mean, I don't even bother looking at the map. Matter of fact, I have a map right here. I was looking at something. The hell? Oh, it just popped up. All right. Okay, so you see, that's supposed to be China. Russia's supposed to be up. So all these other countries up further up, they're supposed to be part of the USSR, not the European countries. The European countries are European countries, which is part of the beast. So the Lord said He's going to turn them back to that old state. And what's causing them to turn back to that old state more than ever? That America was surrounding. Sorry, not America. Europe was surrounding Russia's borders. Ukraine was the last. That was like the last of the last because it was completely surrounded. They put anti-missile systems all around the border of Russia. So Putin is like, nah, enough is enough. So they went Donbass. I remember everything that went down with the news with that. So Donbass, which was part of Russia, which was part of Ukraine, part of Russia. The Ukrainians was attacking it. So Russia went to attack it, and they took because Donbass is port heavy. It's a very important area for the Caspian Sea. This is why you got to pay attention to news. You got to pay attention to geopolitics, all that stuff, because it all makes sense after a while. And from that point on, Russia was on a rampage, especially with the whole thing with Ukraine. So Ukraine has poked the bear, and it's really Ukraine has been a proxy from the U.S. to attack and keep Russia distracted. So it says, "I will bring thee forth in all thy armies." I believe they said like they have like a 80 men reserve or 8 million reserve. I'm not too sure. And it says, and all that army horses and horsemen and all them that clothed with all sorts of armory, even the great company with bucklers and shield of all of them handling swords. So they're gonna about to bring out the best weaponry. This is why they had damn I forgot. it was making mention. I should have looked it up. I was being lazy about it. But the whole how Russia striked Ukraine recently, and the way everybody explained, actually my brother had sent the video. It came out like lightning, and it was getting hit so many times, and that was just a warning. So they have umpteenth powerful weapons. All right, and here's a point: Persia was always Persia until 19, I would say 1950s. They changed their name to Iran. All right, so Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. So Ethiopia or the Kushite nations from was it Somalia, Kenya, all that side of Africa. Libya, which is North Africa. All right. Hey, majority of African nations are siding with either China or Russia. Africa is no longer doing dealings with the West. I believe they have the African Union, which was propped up by the West. But they might leave that African Union that they had because America, especially when they attack Nigeria. But the west coast of Africa is still suspect. Anyway, says all of them with shields and helmet. Gomar and all his bands in the house of uh, Togarma of North Quarters, and all his bands and many people with them. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. So be prepared for this war and prepare for yourself. So prop up your military might. All right. And who has the majority of the missiles of the world? Russia. All right. Everybody sleeps. They keep on sleeping on Russia. Russia has the majority of the great missiles that's going to wipe this place out. And many people with thee. I'm sorry. Be prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. And that's the point. So Russia's duty with these treaties and the relationships that has been built with um, Iran, Ethiopia, all these other, it was to strengthen that relationship. So tech, technically, that's an extension of Russia. So Israel, the U.S., is technically playing with fire. And this is exactly how they want things to be. All right. And what they fail to understand, which is this guy, Albert Pike and Giuseppe Mazzini, when they had that letter, which is famous, which when you Google it, it says, what it says? What's a nice word of saying it's fake? Basically saying it's fake, but everything that they listed was right on point of exactly how things are going on today. But all this is not in the mind, and it come from their mind. It was the Lord's doing. Zephaniah 3 and 8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. So if it takes the world to take a side against the West, and the common ground is Iran to come and save them, then that's the will of the Lord. That's World War III. That's the end all to be all. Now Trump said a couple I would like to say maybe 3, 4 months ago, stated that um, everybody said that World War III is gonna start in the Middle East, but he ended World War III. We're not ending nothing. If the Lord determines, or the Lord's plan is to gather the nations in the Middle East, that's the Lord's determination and that's the Lord's plan. Okay? So this is the will of Yahawashi. It said Pakistan is helping them. And don't worry, India might take the side. They said they say that the one that's reconflicted is Turkey. Because Turkey is supposed to be part of NATO. But Turkey slowly getting out of NATO because of all the stuff that's happening. It says, "Together the nations, and that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them." So this whole thing is the master chessboard, the master chess player of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which is gonna continuously lead all these nations into the Middle East. And for whatever reason, the Lord's gonna put in their mind to do His will. Okay, and once that's all said and done, it's over for this place. Even my fierce anger for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. The fire of the Lord's jealousy is what? Those ICBM nuclear missiles, the heat. What it says in Hebrew, real quick. I'm gonna end it off. I believe it's 13. Let me see. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Nope. Consuming fire. Is it consuming fire? No, it's the 13th chapter. Hold on. Let me make sure. We was just talking about that too. We know the Lord is the Father of spirits. But is it something that just says, maybe it's the 12th chapter. Oh, it is 12. It says Hebrews 12 and 9. For our power is a consuming fire. So this is the Lord's will. The Lord's will, He will burn this place. America is going to be destroyed. All these nations are going to be destroyed. All right? He's going to consume them. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation Israel. Shalom.